Lena was an ordinary girl from a small town, the kind of place where everyone knew your name and your future seemed already written. She grew up watching quiet evenings, simple meals, and couples who stayed together because that was how life worked. When she was 22, she got married. Some people said she was lucky. Some said she was too young. Lena herself didn't know which was true. Like many girls, she carried dreams in her heart. She dreamed of love that felt gentle, of hands that held hers without hurting, of a man who looked at her as if she mattered. She imagined warmth, patience, and a smile that made fear disappear. But alongside those dreams lived something else, fear. Real, heavy fear. Fear of the first night. Fear of the unknown. Fear of not knowing what would happen when the door closed and the world went quiet. Her friends talked about it all the time. One said it was painful. Another said it was beautiful. One laughed, another cried. Each story sounded different, and none of them helped. Every word only made the space inside Lena's chest feel tighter. She smiled and nodded when they spoke, but at night she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering which story would become hers. The wedding day arrived like a storm of sound and color. There were guests everywhere, cameras flashing, food on long tables, prayers spoken loudly, hugs that came one after another. Lena wore a white dress and smiled until her cheeks hurt. When it was time to leave her parents' house, her heart grew heavy. She hugged her mother tightly, breathing in a familiar scent, afraid of how much would change after that moment. She smiled again. Everyone expected her to. The journey to her husband's home felt longer than it was. Her new family welcomed her kindly, and their voices sounded warm, but Lena's hands were cold. Her lips felt dry. She answered questions politely while her thoughts raced ahead to the night waiting for her. She kept telling herself to be brave, to be grateful, to be quiet. Inside, she felt like a child stepping into a world too big to understand. When evening finally came and the house grew quieter, Lena felt her heart beating faster with every passing minute. She had crossed from one life into another, carrying dreams in one hand and fear in the other. She did not yet know which one would guide her. She was smiling on the outside, but inside, she was walking into a world she didn't understand. The wedding room felt different from every place Lena had ever known. It was quiet in a way that pressed against her ears, as if the walls were listening. The lights were soft and low. Flower petals rested on the bed, carefully arranged, and the air carried a sweet scent that felt unfamiliar. This room was meant to be romantic, she knew that. But to Lena, it felt heavy with expectation. She sat on the edge of the bed, her back straight, her hands folded tightly in her lap. Her fingers trembled even though she tried to keep them still. Her heart beat fast and loud, like a drum she couldn't silence. She kept her eyes low, afraid that if she looked around too much, her fear would show. Every small sound felt louder than it should have been, the ticking of a clock, the soft movement of air near the window, the distant echo of footsteps in the house. Then the door opened. Lena didn't look up, but she knew it was Adam. Her breathing became shallow, and her shoulders stiffened without her meaning to. She heard him close the door gently, not with force, not in a hurry. His footsteps were slow. When he sat down on the bed, he left space between them. That space mattered more than she could explain. There was silence. Long, quiet silence. Then Adam spoke. "Lena," he said softly, "I know this is new. It's okay. We don't have to rush. Can we just talk first?" His voice surprised her. It wasn't heavy or demanding. It was warm, calm, like someone offering a blanket on a cold night. Slowly, Lena turned her head and looked at him. He was smiling, but not confidently. There was nervousness in his eyes too, a carefulness that mirrored her own fear. For the first time that day, she felt something unexpected, relief. Adam reached for a glass of water on the small table beside the bed and offered it to her. When she took it, their fingers touched for just a second. That brief contact sent a quiet spark through her chest, not sharp or frightening, but gentle. She quickly looked down again, her cheeks warming. He gave a small laugh. "You don't need to be so scared," he said lightly. "I'm not going to bite you." The words were simple, almost silly, but they worked. A small smile appeared on Lena's face before she could stop it. That smile felt like a crack in a wall she had been holding up all day. Adam began talking about ordinary things. He told her how nervous he had been before the ceremony, how his wedding suit felt too tight, how he nearly tripped walking into the hall. He admitted that his hands had been shaking too. Lena listened, surprised. She had always thought fear belonged only to her, that men were supposed to be confident and ready. Seeing his honesty made her fear feel lighter. After a moment, Adam looked at her again. "Can I hold your hand?" he asked. He didn't move closer. He waited. Lena nodded slowly. He took her hand gently, as if it were something fragile and precious. His hand was warm and steady, not gripping, not demanding. His thumb moved softly against the back of her hand, and that small motion made her heart beat faster again, but this time, it wasn't fear. It was something new. Something calm. Something safe. "Lena," Adam said quietly, "we don't have to do anything tonight. I want you to feel safe with me. Not scared. We have time. A lot of time." At those words, Lena felt tears rise in her eyes. She didn't fully understand why. Maybe it was because she had carried fear for so long. Maybe because she had never expected kindness to feel this powerful. Adam noticed and gently wiped her tears away with his fingertips. The touch was careful, full of respect. Slowly, the tightness in Lena's chest eased. The room didn't feel as heavy anymore. The silence changed. It was no longer full of pressure. It was full of possibility. And for the first time that night, Lena felt her fear begin to soften. Adam didn't move closer right away. Instead, he stayed where he was, as if he understood that space could be a gift. He kept talking, not to fill the silence, but to soften it. He told Lena small, ordinary stories, how he had practiced his vows alone and forgotten half of them, how his hands had been sweating so much that he worried someone would notice, how he had laughed at himself in the mirror to calm down. His voice was steady, but there was honesty in it, the kind that doesn't try to impress. Lena listened. She found herself breathing more slowly. The room felt less unfamiliar now, less like a stage and more like a place where two people could simply be human. Adam noticed the glass in her hands and asked if she wanted more water. When he reached to take the glass back, their fingers brushed again, just for a heartbeat. The touch was brief, almost accidental, but it carried warmth instead of pressure. Lena didn't pull away. She didn't tense. She simply noticed it and let it pass, surprised by how calm she felt. After a moment, Adam looked at her and asked quietly, "Can I hold your hand?" The question mattered. He didn't assume. He didn't reach out without asking. He waited. Lena nodded, her throat tight but her heart steady. Adam took her hand gently, as if it were something precious. He didn't squeeze. He didn't rush. He held it the way someone holds a promise. His thumb moved slowly over the back of her hand, a small, reassuring motion that said more than words could. The fear that had lived in Lena's chest all day began to loosen its grip. It didn't disappear all at once, but it stepped back, giving space to something softer. Safety. Trust. The quiet understanding that she was not being pushed forward, she was being invited. Adam spoke again, his voice low and clear. "I want you to know something," he said. "There's no pressure tonight. No expectations. If all we do is sit and talk, that's enough. I want you to feel safe with me. Always." Those words broke something open inside her. Tears filled Lena's eyes before she could stop them. She felt embarrassed at first, but Adam didn't look surprised or uncomfortable. He simply stayed with her, holding her hand, letting the moment be what it was. When a tear slipped down her cheek, he reached up slowly and wiped it away with the back of his fingers. The touch was careful, respectful, never crossing a line. Lena closed her eyes. She hadn't realized how much fear she had been carrying until that fear finally had somewhere to rest. She whispered, "I was so scared." "I know," Adam replied gently. "You don't have to be anymore." He leaned in just enough to kiss her forehead. It wasn't a kiss meant to take. It was a kiss meant to protect. It lingered for a moment, warm and quiet, like a promise made without words. Lena felt it not on her skin, but deeper, somewhere near her heart. They lay down side by side, still leaving space, still choosing patience. Adam wrapped an arm around her shoulders, and Lena rested her head against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat, slow, steady, real. That sound anchored her. It told her she wasn't alone, that she was seen, that she was safe. When Adam finally leaned in to kiss her lips, it was soft and tentative. Lena didn't pull away. She didn't feel rushed. She felt ready. The kiss wasn't perfect or practiced. It was shy, a little awkward, and completely real. And because it came after kindness, after listening, asking, waiting, it felt right. That night, Lena learned something she would never forget: intimacy doesn't begin with touch. It begins with care. And when kindness comes first, fear has no choice but to step aside. They lay down side by side, not because it was expected, but because it felt natural. The room was quiet again, but this time the silence was gentle. Lena listened to Adam's breathing and felt her own slowly match his. Their bodies were close enough to feel warmth, yet far enough to keep choice alive. Nothing was rushed. Nothing was taken. Adam's arm rested lightly around her shoulders. It wasn't a hold meant to claim, it was a presence meant to reassure. Lena rested her head against his chest and listened to his heartbeat. It was steady and calm, a rhythm that made the world feel smaller and safer. With each breath, the tension she had carried all day softened a little more. They spoke in low voices about simple things: how tired they were, how strange the day had been, how quiet the night felt after so much noise. Adam asked if she was comfortable. Lena nodded. He asked again, just to be sure. She smiled, surprised by how much that care mattered. When Adam leaned in to kiss her, it was slow and unsure, as if he were still asking even without words. Lena met him halfway. The kiss was soft, a little awkward, nothing like the stories she had heard or the scenes she had imagined. But it was real. Their lips touched, separated, then touched again, learning each other without pressure. There was no rush to prove anything. No need to perform. Only a shared moment, chosen freely. Lena realized something important then. This wasn't an obligation she had stepped into. It was a decision she was making, one breath, one moment at a time. That understanding changed everything. The fear that once felt heavy now felt distant, like a memory that no longer controlled her. Adam paused, resting his forehead against hers. "We can stop anytime," he said quietly. Lena looked at him and felt a warmth spread through her chest, not excitement, not urgency, but trust. She nodded, not because she felt pushed, but because she felt ready. That night, they didn't try to become the people others expected them to be. They chose to be themselves first, two humans learning how to be close with kindness. Their first night wasn't about crossing a line. It was about opening a door. Lena would remember it not for what happened, but for how it felt. Calm. Honest. Safe. She understood then that trust is not taken in a single moment. It is built, slowly, gently, until fear has no place left to hide. Years later, when Lena looks back on that first night, she smiles. Not because it was perfect, and not because it looked like a scene from a movie. She smiles because it was hers. It happened at her pace, with her consent, and with a sense of care she did not know was possible at the time. What stayed with her was not the moment itself, but the feeling it left behind, the feeling of being safe. That night taught Lena something she wishes every woman could know. Your first night belongs to you. It should never be shaped by fear, pressure, or expectations from others. It is not something you owe. It is something you choose. You have the right to feel ready. You have the right to say no. And you have the right to feel respected at every step. It also taught her something important about love. True love does not rush. It listens. It waits. It notices fear and responds with patience instead of force. A man who truly loves you will never need to push. He will ask. He will pause. He will care more about your comfort than about a moment. Lena learned that intimacy is not proven by speed or confidence. It is built through trust. Respect creates safety, and safety allows love to grow naturally. Kindness, she realized, is the strongest form of intimacy there is. Her story is not special because of what happened that night. It is special because of how it happened, with understanding, with choice, and with respect. And that is how every love story should begin. If you believe in healthy, respectful love, gently tap like. Share your feelings or thoughts in the comments, your voice matters. And subscribe to continue learning English through meaningful, real-life stories that heal, inspire, and remind us what love should truly feel like.